Hello and welcome to this Candoo learning lesson that we're covering on staying safe online. This is a lesson that we'll be covering with a few tips on how to stay safe online. So this includes using your phone, using your computer, anything really that's connected to the internet. We're going to share some tips through this presentation and maybe even watch some video clips and practice with some real life examples. Number one, the first tip is being cautious of phone scams. This is really the most longer standing of ways to deceive you and take advantage of people's private information. How to recognize a phone scam. Obviously, if there's any offers of a prize or a threat of arrest, even a pressure to decide now, making a decision, while someone that just randomly calls you saying that you need to decide right now, these are all initial red flags of a potential phone scam. There's never a good reason to send cash or to pay with a gift card. Using a gift card to send to someone money off to is a very easy way to lose that money. It's not tracked like a credit card or have those safety precautions through something with a bank. So gift card is really just cash on this card. So never a good reason to pay or give money that way. And government agencies won't be randomly calling you to confirm sensitive information over the phone. That's definitely also a red flag. Here are some common disguises for phone scams. They may say they're calling from the IRS, taxes, the Social Security Administration, the police, a relative, maybe a relative that you haven't met yet, or an estranged distant cousin, an unknown charity that they may be claiming they're from, especially with the onset of natural disasters. This is also something that you need to be aware of. Or lastly, a charity that you've donated to, such as something in the past. So these disguises all have, anyone can say that they're from these organizations, right? So we're going to go through some things on how to ensure that you really are talking to the right people. And let us not forget that one of the most common disguises for phone scams is someone claiming that they're calling from Microsoft, Amazon, or Apple. These are large, obviously, probably the most well-known tech companies out there. So they'll be easily targets to be used in terms of calling you about something. Here's what to do and just tips to safeguard yourself against falling for a phone scam. So if there's anything that just seems suspicious when you receive a call, and especially if they're claiming to be from one of these phone scam disguises that we saw in the previous slide, obviously hang up. I recommend going to their direct website or cross-referencing the information from a trustworthy source rather than just trusting the random phone call you received, because it most likely isn't from the company. It's probably someone else just claiming that they're from this government agency or this company or the police, right? We also recommend to not give that personal information over the phone. What is this personal information? It can be anything such as the address, banking information, your social security information, even the last four, passwords. These are all sensitive pieces of information that you really should safeguard and not just divulge or provide them over the phone to someone that maybe you don't know if they're valid from a company, or maybe they're just posing to be someone that's just looking for information. We also do not recommend in instances where there's something with your computer. Let's say you called them due to a pop-up on your computer, and they're wanting to gain access to your computer without a pre-scheduled appointment. So this is something where we do not recommend unless you have a pre-scheduled appointment where you can cross-reference the company that they're calling from, have some background on who is actually wanting to access the computer and why. All important things to make note of when you're calling a phone number that you just see on the internet, but specifically calls that you receive unexpectedly. Now we'll look at a live scenario that we can see the dialogue and the dynamic of what one of these phone calls might feel like, and specifically what they sound like.
Can you verify me your home address?
No, I will not. No, I'm not going to give you my address. If you have my file on me, you should know what my address is.
Miss Stevens, you need to understand one thing over here, that I'm trying to cooperate with you on the recorded line, and even you need to cooperate with me. Recent mailing address?
My current address is 205 Saunders Street in Apex, North Carolina. I'm not going to confirm my social security number with you. I'm not going to do that. I'd like to just speak to your supervisor now, please. That's correct. Well, if it has nothing to do with illegal activities, why do I have to give you tell you how many bank accounts I have?
Do not blame us if you do that, man. We're trying to help you out over here.
Well, I just don't understand what I'm giving you. I would like to know what the allegations are against me and what you're going to take out a warrant for. Well, that's better than the 25 the first guy told me were out against me. And they hung up on me.
All right. So, like we saw in that video clip, you really see the pressing nature of the person that's calling. So, and as well as the tactic that the officer in that clip used. So, feel free to pause this video if you have any thoughts. Think if you've had a similar experience, right? Because it's very common that you've either received a call like this from someone either claiming that you owe money, or maybe you received a message and they're inviting you to call to clear up the situation. So there's a lot of ways that you can receive or fall into these types of conversations. Luckily, the police officer was able to record this dynamic to kind of use questioning to really find out what this was about. And ultimately, like we saw, the person on the other line was just trying to get information from her rather than providing details and facts to her over the phone. So at any rate, just a good moment to see what you, if you see receive a call like this, you know, if you've had a similar experience, you know, to remember those and really hang up if you have any intuitions about something suspicious about a call you receive or a call you make. Let's go ahead and take a look here at this next video clip.
Do you have any orders on the way from Amazon? If so, you're a prime target for the latest Amazon scam. Here's what to watch out for so you don't waste your money. Kimberly Moore was at her health administrator job when she received a strange call on her cell phone.
Very specific amount of money of a purchase that they wanted to see if I made.
But Kimberly never made any such purchase. The automated call then gave her an option.
Then call this number because then they need to get it all straightened out for you.
But luckily, instead of calling, she checked her Amazon account and realized there was no such $500 order. Amazon customers across the country are getting calls like hers.
That order seemed to be fraudulent. Press 1 to talk with Amazon's fraud department executive.
Sometimes it's a woman's voice. The FTC says if you press 1, an agent will ask for the credit card number attached to the account. Don't do it. It's all a scam. Amazon will email you personally with your name if there is an account issue. Kim is so glad she checked her account online before calling that number back.
I figured it was a fraud, but even still, it was like, oh my gosh, was there $500 and something now missing from my account?
Luckily, her account was fine. Still not sure? Ask the caller to read your account number out loud to you. Chances are they have no idea what it is. And in that case, just hang up so you don't waste your money.
All right, so like we saw in that video clip, we know by the information of the company itself, in this case, Amazon, that they won't just call you out of the blue. They'll verify that information directly to you via email with your name and even your account information. So this is just another way that maybe you might get notified of something potentially fraudulent on your account, and that call in itself is a fraud or a scam attempt. So that's just an example of a news clip. And let's go on to our second tip for staying safe online, which is being cautious of email scams. Email scams are probably equally, if not more popular than phone scams. They might actually be hand in hand, because 9 times out of 10, usually emails that are scammed or fraudulent will have some phone number for you to call. Here's how to recognize a potential email scam. Commonly, emails are disguised as emails from your bank, credit card company, maybe an app that you've used, or an online payment website, or an online store. What's really easy to fall for them is that they might even use just the logo, like the Amazon logo, Apple logo, Microsoft, PayPal, right? When in reality, anyone can really save a logo and put it on an email to make it look legitimate. If you receive an email saying any of these next items, it's best to just look up the customer service line and to call them. Some common notices that you might even see directly on a subject line is that maybe there's noticed suspicious activity, multiple failed login attempts. Maybe they're asking you to confirm personal information or asking you to make a payment. So these are really red flags. If you see these in an email and it just seems suspicious, we have to trust our instinct and maybe cross-reference it by going to the company's website directly, calling the company's customer service line, and not just relying on that single email. Here's some quick tips. We recommend avoiding opening or downloading any attachments. That's anything that you might see at the bottom of an email with a paper clip, or something else that you need to add to your computer to install, because you really don't know what it is. So if you're not sure who's sending you this email message, and it might not be the company that they say they're from, better to avoid downloading anything from the email message itself. Make sure to read carefully the link that you're clicking on, because there might be maybe there might be a typo, or there might be a 0 instead of an O, or a period between the names of the companies. These are all ways that these scammers can make a link or a company name seem real, but it's really not. It's slightly different, making it a duplicate. If you're not sure about a link, if it's safe, we recommend to not click it. Ignore and delete emails claiming you won something for free. Maybe you won a gift card or a vacation, right? These are common hooks or just draws to have you provide your private information, your sensitive information. If you think you're gonna win something for free, most people will provide their information in exchange for getting something free. So it's an easy way to provide that out there. So be wary of anything claiming to be free. Let's go ahead and try this. Here's some example emails that may or may not be scams. So as we go through, we have 3 examples. Feel free to pause the video to take a better look. I'll keep the images on the screen, and feel free to just review this and see if you're able to spot it when I first put it up. Here is the first of those examples. And what I recommend is pausing the video, and I'll just leave this up here for just a few more seconds. And to be honest, this is what is pretty common, right? An email from Netflix. What we'll see here is, and I'll go ahead and just point some things out. So here's the logo, right? This logo at the top looks like the current Netflix icon. Right below it, we're gonna see this message with this exclamation mark alerting us that our account is on hold, followed by updating your payment details and a message about having trouble with the current billing information, that they'll try again. And most importantly, this big red button says update your account, update account now. So really the main message in this email is trying to get you on alert about a potential Netflix account that you have, may or may not have, and clicking this button to start with the updating of your payment details. So they're asking for sensitive information. Few things here that make this stand out as not real, right? Hopefully we are able to identify this as not a legitimate message. Why is it has that notice of your account being on hold, right? Now, two things here. If you have a Netflix account, try to use it. If it really is not working, right, test that message. Is it on hold? I can still stream something. Then this message isn't applicable to you. Second, if this message really is for you, it should at least have your first and last name, or maybe your first name, last initial, something. This message just says, hi, dear. So it really is not specific to anyone. It's really just a generic salutation, and it could have been sent to thousands, hundreds of thousands of people just based on them having an email out there, and they send it out. Also, here's details on the bottom portion. So it's saying if you need help, there's maybe a button here for the help center. And since we're located in North America, we don't spell center this way. So this is a regional typo. And at the bottom of the screen, this phone call or this phone number that they're asking you to call if you have any questions, it starts with a 0 and then an 800, and then it has other digits. So just the format of this phone number is also off. It's not localized to a standard 1-800 number. So because of all those red flags, we're going to mark this as potentially a scam, and we're going to mark it as a spam, delete it, ignore it, don't click anything on here. Like I said, if you really have a Netflix account, I recommend logging into netflix.com or going through the app and looking to see your account details, but directly through Netflix rather than this random email that claims to be from Netflix. Here's another example. So again, I'll leave this on the screen for probably just 10 more seconds so we just get a good view. And for this example, this email was actually sent to someone named Rachel, and for their privacy, we just covered their last name, but the name is correct. All right. Now, if you need more time trying to just identify anything in this screenshot, if this is real or fake, feel free to pause the video. But let's go ahead and dive in. So this does look a little unique, right? It is just a screenshot. It has Amazon.com on it. It has information about something that we might be interested in. So it's a suggestion. And one thing that this specifically includes is this email address. In bold, it says Amazon.com. And then in these little parentheses, it has this long kind of jargony name, which is VFE-campaign-response@Amazon.com. So in this example, this email is probably the most unique. It looks a little fishy, right? It's not a typical email that you get, but what tells us that this email is actually from Amazon is to the right of this @ sign, it says Amazon.com. That's telling us, regardless of what's on the left-hand side, only emails that have Amazon.com are actually from that company. They own that website, they own that domain. So that's an easy way. If anything to the left looks suspicious, but it says the company's name and their actual website, so in this case, Amazon.com, then we know that it's actually from them. Another indicator that this is actually a real message from the company is that it says your name, right? So in this case, the email is indicated or intended for Rachel, and it says her name on the email. That's a good sign, meaning they at least know your name, and rather than before in the email where it says, hello, dear. And finally, they're not asking for us to do anything about our accounts, such as multiple failed attempts, or updating our payment information, or a potential fraudulent purchase. All this email is really just intended for is a suggestion of maybe something that we've been shopping for. So it's almost like a marketing message. What I would go one step further here is, if you do receive a message like this, recommending an item or a product, just for best practice and not relying on clicking in links in an email, open up your Amazon app on your phone, right? Or go to Amazon.com and look for it. Look for it directly on the Amazon website, right? We can just type in this name of this product and look for it there, rather than maybe just clicking a link in an email. So that's just my recommendation as a best practice. Take this as an FYI and look for it on the Amazon website directly. All right, our last example. Put this on the screen and I'll leave it up just for a little bit. If you need more time to take a look at this example, feel free to pause the video. You can also take a better look at it, see what stands out, if there's anything wrong with it. And now let me take just some time here to point out what stands out from what we've been learning about, right? Those red flags. So first off, what really stands out is the subject line. It's indicating that an account that we may have or may not have with this bank has been locked. So that's already telling us that there's something that we need to start fixing, right? It's an alert, it's an email. The name of the bank, right? We want to make sure that this is an actual bank that we belong to. In this example, if you're rushing through your email and let's say you have an account of Bank of America, you might think this is actually what it says, but it's Bank of Americans, which is not a bank in existence that I'm aware of. Next, the name. Notice that it doesn't mention at least your first name or your first name, last initial. It's just a generic online banking customer. So this message can go out to 1,000 different people or more, and it would apply. They don't need to put their specific names on there. What also says is it is indicating here that you need to update your accounts due to security for a number of invalid login attempts, like it says here. So as a result, they've locked your account. And if you wanted to unlock it, click here to begin the verification process, or you need to go to the physical bank if you don't do so in 24 hours. So the main point of this message is for you to click this button and update your personal information about this supposed account you have. Lastly, the signature, or who this is claiming to be from, is the Bank of America's fraud detection. So banks will have a fraud department, and in this case, they just said fraud detection, almost like it's some automated machine that's a fraud detection email, right? So that's also something to be aware of. If you ever receive a legitimate message from your bank, it'll be from the fraud department. One other thing that we will see here is whenever it says from and to, if you should look to make sure that you're part of this email, or at least that your email is who it's sent to. In this example, this just has an email that doesn't look like it might belong to us. So that's the final red flag. What this email might be is actually a group email where you have all these other personal emails and they just created this group email and it just sent out to everyone at once. So several indicators there, right? It's telling us to do something about your accounts that's been locked. And if you aren't being aware of these red flags, you might click this button and provide some information to someone that actually isn't from Bank of America or from a bank at all. So these are just some examples so that we can just practice as we're going through our own emails, see if we have an email that's alerting us of one of those red flag messages about your account being locked, multiple failed attempts, making a payment, right? As always, cross-reference it with the company itself by going to their website. If it's a bank like this, call the number that's on your credit card or on a statement that you received them. Call them directly, or just go to the bank, your local branch, and just verify. There might even be a way to report this to them so they can help prevent these types of messages from going out. A tip that we'll also include here to stay safe online is to use strong passwords. Passwords are really the guiding security for any account that you have. So if you have a username, which is most likely your email, there will also be a password that will secure that account. In order to really keep it secure, as much as possible, we recommend using lowercase, uppercase, and special characters or symbols like exclamation mark or the @ sign in your password. The longer the password, the better. This will help with just keeping it harder to crack, harder for others to guess. We recommend using at least 10 characters and not just the minimum characters that maybe the company asks for. Avoid using personal information like a birth date or a family member's name, things that maybe other people or groups of people already know about you. If you include that common knowledge information about you, then and if it's in the password, then that's already kind of giving someone that's trying to crack your password, giving them a head start. For yourself, we recommend making sure that the password is easy to remember, that way you don't forget about it and lock yourself out of an account. You can write it down and keep it in a safe place with your other important documents. You want to treat your password almost as sensitive like your social security information, right? So keep it together. So if you ever need to refer to it again or update it, you have a safe place where it's recorded. Do not share passwords over text message or email. Why? Because even though you may have the strongest password, the most perfect password, once you share that to another device over text message or email, let's say you send it to a grandson or a family member, if their phone or their computer isn't secured just like your devices, and you provide and send out their password, then you're just giving them essentially like the keys to your car, the keys to your home, right? Anyone that might be able to gain access to their device, their phone, their computer, will not have your password easily. That's why we recommend not sharing it through this way, rather sharing it face-to-face or over the phone and having the person, keep it in a safe place if you need to share your password. Another way to share password information securely is a password manager. So that is an electronic way to securely share this information with others if writing things down isn't really something that's working. Finally, let's discuss what to do if you've been hacked. Here are some quick tips. We will recommend that you, if you suspect any suspicious activity, for example, on your credit cards or accounts, alert the organization's customer service line immediately. And when we say the customer service line, not the one that you might see on the email, or maybe one that you just randomly see in a pop-up, right? One that you see on a verified communication from that company. If it's a bank, on the card or the statement, or going to speak to them directly at a branch. If it's Amazon or Apple, going to their website, apple.com, amazon.com, looking for that customer service line to call them directly, but from the information on their website, not on an email or some other information that you receive. We also recommend disconnecting from the internet as soon as possible if you lose control of your computer due to someone else taking control of it and maybe doing things that you're not aware of. This can either be by turning off your computer, pulling the plug if you really need to, or if you know how to turn off or disconnect your Wi-Fi, doing that on your device. Here at Candoo, we can provide that support in a one-on-one session. So if you're a member or if you wanted to try us out in a session, give us a call and we can have one of our verified US-based tech concierges assist you with restoring maybe your information or your data on a device if you lose it, and just give you additional tips to stay safe. Here's actions that you can take. You can report fraud by going to the FTC website. There is a FBI Crime Compliance Center website that you can also gain additional resources. If you're a senior and you wanted additional information on how to stay safe, here's a great website. There's also finally a safety guide that's regularly updated called safetydetectives.com. And finally, you can add your number to the do not call list by calling this number here. And this will limit the number of maybe marketing calls that you receive. Therefore, if you still receive additional calls, then you can already know that they're most likely not from legitimate sources if you have your number on this do not call list. Now, this information, these links will be available in the description of this video, so you don't need to worry about writing it down or anything like that. We'll have it available just after viewing this video in the description area. You can click the links or write it down and investigate further if you'd like. All right, so thank you everyone for joining me in this lesson today on staying safe online. If you'd like to try a visit, here is our number. It is the 646-758-6606. This is the one and only number that we use to contact our end users, and the only number that you can reach us at for any information to sign up on. If you'd like to send us an email, this is also the best email to use. It's support@candootech.com. All right, everyone. Well, thank you again for joining me today. I hope everyone stays safe out there and has a great day being safe and online. Have a good day. Bye-bye.